Just going to get it off the bat. We already recorded this episode.
Yeah, but we were unsatisfied with it and we threw it away.
AKA, I forgot to record the mic.
You should put the part of the clip, if you haven't deleted already, where we realize...
Hi, that's gone.
We realized like 27 minutes into the recording.
Talked about the entire list.
I mean, we were almost done. We were wrapping it up.
But we're back.
We're back. But you know what? This is good because...
It's a dry run. So now we
get... and I think we have more perspective.
Okay. Someone's getting water.
Hey.
You have perspective.
You have perspective.
I have perspective because I watched Romulus.
Yeah.
So in the previous version,
fresh.
I didn't see any Romulus or Remus. Spoiler.
I don't know if anyone saw Remus, even in Romulus.
I'd be surprised. We're not going to talk about the Alien versus Predator movies.
Which is a shame.
I'm just going to put them in F. I know JD would like to say that the first one is at least watchable.
I think the first one is probably a D.
Maybe.
You know, like when they're in the room and they're like, when the eggs all start going.
Yeah.
And I think I remember like there's also like the Predator throws like the net and then it starts to, and then you've got like the alien that's kind of got like the acid net mark.
Cool visuals.
Cool things in it, yeah.
Just a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's most Predator movies, though. If you really think about it.
Yeah. What do you think? Is that more? It's
more of a Predator movie.
Like you, well, yeah. You think that's the reason it's like yeah. Of course, it was going to be not great. It focuses on the Predator too much.
There's maybe 2.5 good Predator movies. But let's get started. In 1979, we get Alien, directed by Ridley Scott, who recently talked about how he saw Star Wars was going to make another movie. I can't remember what movie it was. I think he ended up making it anyways.
Yeah.
Just sort of later.
Napoleon.
But then he was like, you know what? I got to do something else. And he did this space horror movie, Alien, about the xenomorph. But it's mainly about, it's the commentary on the slashers. Yeah. It's subverting those, talking about sexual violence. Ian Holmes obviously in it. Sigourney Weaver. Tom Skerritt. Harry Dean Stanton. John Hurt, who gets the chest burster.
Yeah.
Yaphet Kotto, who's, in a bunch of great 80 movies. You know what? 1979 is the 80s. Whatever.
It's pretty much there. This movie, rules.
It is as good as people say it is.
Yeah. Anything we're about to say or saying right now, it's either been said or I didn't say. People are
it deserves more than even what we're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, interestingly enough, do you think, because, Alien, one of the all-time greats. Mm. I feel like we're in a real time. We've talked about this before. We're like, are younger people finding those classics, or does it take like a Romulus to get them back?
Unfortunately, it does take a requel or a legacy sequel.
I'm not upset that people are finding Alien for the first time. I think that is sick.
I think if Zoomers and Generation Alpha, which are starting to come of like almost adults, I think they'll start to realize and find these movies. Yeah. And they're already finding them because most of the good, well, not all the good movies are on streaming, but most of the iconic good movies are on streaming. Yeah. Alien holds up very well. There's one scene in the vents that probably hasn't aged well. The jump scare.
Oh, I like that jump scare.
I know, but it's just so like if you've watched it a couple of times, you're just like that's a guy in a suit. Yeah. That's a guy in a suit.
But that's what I like about it. I like that it all feels like a guy in a suit. Yeah. It never feels like, because they couldn't do, they didn't really have a lot of that technology. That it's like, it feels so real. Like even when at the end where they're in the escape pod, and I love the hand that pops out. I thought that's cool. Instead of like focusing on the face, it's the hand. And then like the alien just struggles to get out. It's cool.
And it doesn't subvert the idea of the final girl because it's still a final girl, but usually in the slasher movies, the main character is the final girl, and in Alien, Sigourney Weaver's not even the main character for a lot of the movie.
I think she's like third in command, really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, Tom Skerritt is obviously the big name at the time.
Yeah.
And Harry Dean Stanton's coming onto the scene, so it's like, but yeah, I think it's S tier.
I think it's S tier.
I don't think anyone would disagree with that.
Does it make you like scared of cats?
No.
Because Jonesy just watches Harry Dean Stanton eat it and just kind of lures him to his death.
But that's exactly what a cat is like.
Would you have left the cat?
No.
This is also, you save the cat.
You have to save the cat.
This is the whole, this creates, a whole thing, you know, a whole, film study, gotta save the cat.
So let's talk about Aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens. 7 years later, James Cameron, he's hot off of Terminator.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what, Michael Biehn, you got to be in another movie.
I'll give you, I guess, the same amount of screen time. He said, Bill Paxton, hey, do you want more screen time?
He's like, hey, Bill, look, you got beat up really quick.
Did you dirty in the first one?
And he said yes.
Yes, please.
And Sigourney Weaver, obviously, this is the first of many movies with James Cameron. Well, I guess not until Avatar, but she's going to be in all the Avatars.
Yeah.
So
she's like she's a teenager.
Yeah. But anyways, this one, only Ripley survived, obviously, with the cat.
Yep.
She's found, what is it? I
think it's 70, 80 years.
Yeah, it's enough for her daughter to grow old and die.
Yeah. It's really Cameron being taking things that may have been there and really fleshing them out to really hit home a theme.
Yeah. But then also at the same time, it's what if the first movie is super scary and horror? What if this is just balls to the walls action?
Yeah.
And it rules. It is somehow keeps the same tone of the first movie. Yeah. Xenomorphs, scary, but also works on the motherhood angle a lot because obviously you have Newt, the kid, and struggling to stay alive, and Ripley working her butt off just to make sure that the kid's alive. And then Paul Reiser obviously is in it.
Oh, well, yeah.
Paul. And this is where the Weyland-Yutani stuff really takes a head.
Yes, because it's kind of the twist at the end of Alien.
Yeah.
And then it really becomes oh no, they've always been pretty bad.
Yeah.
But Paul Reiser is perfect company man. Well, you've got all the aliens. They still look. This is still very much dudes in suits.
But you get the mother.
But you get the mother, the queen. Yeah. You get and then of course the iconic
the mech fight,
the mech suit, and really the power loader. But
that water. You did something to that water.
Is that alien? Is that an alien in there? And Terminator's cool, but to see him on a huge, a massive scale, and just still be using things we covered it in garbage bags, and just knowing some of the history of that. There's a great series on Netflix about that. There's an episode called I think it's something about how movies were made, but there's an aliens episode. And they talk about that. They talk about all the decisions. They talk about how they're how they still did it practically, and there's just striking visuals.
Yeah, it's a good mixture of the H.R. Geiger work, and James Cameron's own visual style because the Colonial Marines is 100% James Cameron. Because in Avatar, there's a lot of similarities to the way the soldiers look. So.
Yeah, and then I just think the one that I always think about. I always just think about the alien coming out of the water.
Oh yeah,
I just think that is so eerie, but just looks so sick.
He did the right choice of making the xenomorphs more of a focus in the second one. Obviously, the first one you have to play with that because it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's just they're everywhere.
Do you think Weyland-Yutani knew that putting a colony on that planet was going to lead to this? And ultimately, this was their way of trying to...
Knowing what I know now about Weyland-Yutani, they'll do anything. Anything in terms of research.
Spend all that money on colonizing.
They don't care about humans. They care about making sure humanity survives.
Yeah.
That's a difference. So, S tier.
S tier.
Another one no one's going to disagree with.
No, Aliens, S tier.
Yes.
Just add the S.
S tiers.
Yeah. Ooh.
6 years later.
Yep.
David Fincher comes onto the scene. He's directing Madonna music videos, and the studios are calling him up, say, "Hey, we need you to make a movie. We need you to make a movie." And they give him Alien 3. And they decide that halfway through, they're like, maybe we don't want you to make a movie.
It's a little too dark for us.
And they meddle so hard in this that neither the director's cut, which is not even a director's cut, they just say that, and the theatrical cut, neither of them are what Fincher even envisioned.
Yeah.
So it's we don't even get what his ideal was because the studio meddled so much.
Yeah.
All that to say, Ellen Ripley's back.
Yep.
Newt and Michael Bihn's character, Hicks are dead.
They're done.
They're gone. Gonzo.
And just really in a mean way.
In a very mean way.
Not even.
But this one takes place in a prison, all male prison.
Yeah.
It's got Rock in it. The original Rock. Before The Rock. But basically, it's like monks.
Yeah.
They're stuck there on that colony, so they have no choice but to figure something out.
Religious zealots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but yeah, also prisoners. It's a weird.
This movie has so much iconic scenes as well. I mean, obviously, her being up against the wall, shaved bald as the xenomorph's looking at her, but also we get at the end, she sacrifices herself. So it's about it could have been better.
She's impregnated by an alien at this point.
Mm-hmm.
She knows that she's gonna be gone soon anyways.
So yeah.
And so she just says, I'm gonna kill this alien. And it is a choice to be like, as she's falling, like the alien. It's like and it's like, I don't know, I like this, kind of like ruins the sacrifice a little bit. I don't need to see the alien like burst out of her. But yeah, I mean, I think there are good things. I don't hate this movie. When you have to watch it if you're watching all of them.
Well, you have to watch all of them.
Yeah, you have to watch all of them.
Yeah.
Even Alien vs. Predator, you have to watch it.
Requiem is the only one
you do not have to watch.
You can't watch it. You can't watch it.
It's illegal and it's dark.
It's too dark.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think it's a decent like franchise movie.
Yeah.
And that gets a bad rap.
It gets a very bad rap.
But you know what? I also thank the studio maybe for creating the David Fincher we know and love today.
Yeah.
Because who knows? Could have been a studio man after this.
It's that it's that old saying. It's like you can't regret the past because it makes you who you are now. Yeah. So we'll probably put it at what, like C tier?
C tier.
Just to be nice.
Yeah.
It could be argued D tier.
Yeah.
But C tier.
C tier for sure.
And then we get 5 years later, we get Jean-Pierre Jeunet, director of Amelie and Delicatessen, to do an alien movie.
Yeah.
Hot off at Amelie.
Yeah. No.
It was hot off Delicatessen.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got my years mixed up. Yeah. And then he does Amelie after.
Would have been wild if like in the trailers for Amelie, they're like from the director of Alien Resurrection.
They might have done that.
I think I've heard too that this was strictly a, hey, I'm just doing this for the paycheck.
Yeah.
I will do whatever you want me to do. Joss Whedon writes it.
Punches it up, yeah.
No, I think he writes it.
Oh, he writes it.
He writes it. Does not enjoy what is made of it.
No.
But
I would say the dialogue, the Alien Resurrection is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The dialogue is not great.
Well, maybe it's not that maybe it is great. It's just not executed. The tones are different.
Yeah.
They're making a script that I guess maybe should be a little bit, I don't know, more funny or more like not funny. And they're like doing the opposite. It is a very kooky movie. It's
a movie that should have been more meta than what it was. Yeah. Because obviously Ripley is a clone in this.
Yep.
And has been cloned multiple times. The xenomorphs are also being cloned.
Yeah.
Lots of weird, goopy, slimy weirdness to this
wet movie.
Ron Perlman's in it. There's a couple other people in it. Winona and Ripley, and Sigourney Weaver, are the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's like Ripley, while she's a clone, is still got that whole motherhood thing going on. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to adopt this weird synthetic who is just getting bullied by everyone.
Cat starts with a C.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's man, we didn't even talk about Bishop. That's crazy.
No, I know. Bishop is the best one.
Sorry, Bishop. Lance Henriksen, we apologize. Yeah. No, but then of course the coolest part is the underwater alien, and the yuckiest part is the baby.
The baby
that then gets sucked out of the airlock.
The tiniest little hole.
Which is how Lambert was supposed to die in the original.
Yeah,
you know that. Which would have been gross.
Would have been. Yeah, they couldn't have done it.
They could not a human.
No,
it would have
been so funny. But I will say the end of Resurrection is really cool.
Yeah,
because they're crash landing on Earth.
Yeah,
and they gotta do something about this xenomorph baby, and they're just like, you know what, small hole.
Let's do it,
and it worked.
It works, and yeah, again, disgusting.
Yeah,
looks a little bit like Pumpkinhead.
Oh,
it's honestly what I would give all of these movies, the natural progression of what it should be. Like at no point are you like, Yeah, that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it really is, like, from the beginning to the end is, like, in those 4, you're like, yeah, no, all of this would be where this would go.
That's what messing with DNA would be like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Weyland Yutani definitely, like, messing with DNA. Oops, they made a human alien baby. Like, Ripley is mean now. And we crash on Earth, and yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. So, D tier?
Yeah, I'm going to go D tier on this one, yeah.
The water scene's really fun, though.
Water scene rules.
The scene where the xenomorphs kill one of them so the acid could get them out of their little cell is pretty cool.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's all, the basketball.
Yeah, the basketball.
Been talked to death.
We fast forward to 2012 for Prometheus. Ridley Scott's back. The 20th Century Fox begged him, pleaded him, dropped, I don't know how much money on his desk.
I don't know. It's strange. They just, like, said you could do whatever you want.
Yeah. And he does whatever he wants.
And
he decides, he's like, you know what if alien Jesus came by and seeded the earth and made humans, but also made a proto-xenomorph?
Yeah. And it's like, and I think that's what's confusing. This is the whole issue. I defend Prometheus.
Yes.
I like Prometheus.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks slick. It makes sense that this world looks cool right now before it just becomes awful. The cast is great. The design, the production design is like through the roof. You get David. Mm-hmm. You get these interesting ideas. My issue is I don't understand. I mean, I know what he's going for, and like, what is life? What is, like, creation? What is like all of this?
What does it mean to create the perfect being?
What is that? That like, can you ever, do that?
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's weird that he's using his Alien franchise to do it and be like, hey, that thing that you see in the first Alien? I'm going to explain what that is, but not really. Or, hey, do you know how the aliens came to be? I would love to know that. Well, sorry, I'm not going to tell you. Or oops, it's an accident. It's just something like that. It's like it takes like the goo, and David infects Logan Marshall Green, and then like Naomi Rapace has like a proto alien baby, or not even a proto alien baby. It is the thing that like attaches itself to an engineer that then creates the proto alien, and you're like, is this an accident? Is this like, what is it? Like, you think that like so much is built upon like, what is this alien? And what is this xenomorph?
And this is co-written by Damon Lindelof, right?
And it was this was peak Lindelof being like,
where he asks a million questions, but only answers the one that no one's really wanting an answer
to. And it just feels, it's just, again, I really like it. I think it's cool. Mm-hmm. As an alien movie, I do not enjoy it. Like, I do not enjoy that part of it. I'm like, again, just tell me the story of the engineers. I don't care.
Yeah. So where would you put Prometheus? I'll let you put it.
Okay. I would go B. I think it's. I'll go B. Well, I kind of thought, wait, is that the second tier? And I was like, no. That's the third tier. So.
And then 5 years later, we get Alien Covenant,
which I jump off. I'm like. No, thank you.
The studio, a lot of people like Covenant because the xenomorph is back.
And that stuff is cool.
Yeah. But it goes like, we end Prometheus with David and Naomi's character flying off into space.
They're going to find the engineers.
And then we come back 5 years later, and David's like, what if I genocide the whole engineer race?
Yeah. And then he's like, what if I make some face huggers?
What if I try to train my own version of another version of me into being just an evil little robot?
And then when it doesn't work, I'm just going to take his place.
Just, you know what,
And again, as a thriller, I think like most of the movie works.
It's a fun movie.
There's some cool things with like, there's the backburster. Mm-hmm. There is all the alien stuff at the end. But it really is, I think, trying to be like, Ridley, please make your Prometheus sequel, but please also make an Alien sequel. Yeah. And it is like, they are shoved together. Because you got like planet stuff, and then you got spaceship stuff.
And it's just trying too much.
It's just too much. And I think it looks ugly. It is too dark. It's not too dark. No, it is like just brown and gray. Obviously it didn't work. No one cared. And then we had to redo. We just like restart.
I will say the end when the xenomorph shows up is fun.
Cool.
That last like 30 minutes of the movie is really fun.
And we'll talk about that in a second. But like, But the like idea that like I feel like we are further away from whatever the planet is, 429 or whatever, LV14, and it's like because that's the whole point. It's like how did that engineer spaceship get there, and how did the eggs get there?
Yeah.
And then now we're like, we don't know where we're going. David's just like barfing up face huggers, and putting them in the ship, and I'm like, or putting them in the right, because aren't they carrying people?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, you don't know. So I think it's safe to put it in C.
I'm gonna put it in C.
Yeah, because it's still
Good
fun
stuff.
to watch. Yeah,
good cast.
And then obviously we get Fede Alvarez coming to the series and doing Romulus, and I just watched it. Obviously, there's a lot of talk. Not going to spoil it too much, but there's a lot of talk about bringing back a previous character.
Yeah. Not even a character.
Not even.
And I think that may even be some of the.
They're not even bringing back the character.
Yeah.
They're just bringing back an actor from back in the day.
Yeah.
Person has passed away.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of digital.
Passed away like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's a bit of digital necromancy, which, say what you want about it, it's going to happen regardless whether we like it or not.
Yep.
And my only issue with this movie is this part.
Because, and really, it just doesn't look good.
It's done terribly.
It looks bad.
It takes you out of the movie.
Yeah.
For like a 20 minutes of the movie, you're just like, I don't like what's happening here.
And other than that,
solid movie.
So good that it's like they were like, hey, we really like the end of Alien Covenant. Mm-hmm. Can you just do that, mix a little bit more Alien in there, like the actual Alien movie, and maybe some isolation that people love, and like just can you do that? And Fede's like, absolutely, I love it, and he's a big fan of the universe. He's talked about this, but it takes you right out because you're like, who is this for? The idea is like, let's bring in a younger audience. No one's gonna know.
And everyone that already knows the Alien universe knows that the synthetic androids are at times a little kooky.
Yeah.
A little spooky.
Yeah.
Sometimes deranged.
Yeah.
Just like the Addams Family.
Well, like we talked about, like that would have been a really fun moment to get Fassbender back in. Or
even the synthetic that's in the movie. Why not
or like a different version. Yeah. Like that would have been real kind of eerie to be like, oh, this is who you could have been.
Yeah.
And this is who you're becoming. But we could talk about the Rook stuff all day and that it's not good. Yeah. But like everything else, I mean, this movie rocks.
If it didn't have that, it owns. Yeah. It could be A tier. If you don't know, if you haven't seen any promotion for Alien Romulus, it's basically like these people that work for Weyland-Yutani are forced to work on this planet, stuck there. They just want to get off.
Yeah.
So they see what they think is a ship. It's not a ship, but they want to get the cryopods off. And then obviously things unfold from there. Lots of face huggers.
Yeah.
A lot of xenomorphs, what I did not expect.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Because, I don't watch a lot of previews.
Yeah.
I just watch
I don't think it's really kind of promoted in there either. They did a really good job of hiding a lot of that and kind of, I love what they do with, his name's Andy, the synthetic. Just kind of like making him feel a little bit more human, and then there's a moment where he doesn't feel human anymore, and it just and you think it's gonna go one way, but then it kind of goes another. I mean, Kaylee Spaney is on a run right now, and it's very much that same kind of. She is not being Ripley, but like it's that same idea of like this character who, yes, we know she's the main character at least, but like she is trying to just stay to the side. Yeah. It's not even her goal to like, she doesn't want to go on the thing.
She never even wanted to be there in the first place.
But like, she's just kind of there as like you need my synthetic, like, sure, And
she wants to leave that rock behind.
I do love that it is also not, because after having the Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which is filled with people being like, let me put my face over this egg. Like, that's crazy. Or like, let me touch this thing.
No, all the characters knew immediately.
Yeah.
Even the character that you're supposed to not like, immediately understood it's like, this is a thing I don't want to be around.
Well, even the idea of like the way that the face huggers like kind of defrost is because they need the cryo like fuel.
It's written really well.
It's done in a way where like, this all makes sense. Yeah. There's no plot holes, that like you're like, well, I wouldn't have done that, or why did it do that? And then we will not give it away, but the fourth act is just like
they go for a swing.
Bonkers.
They go for a swing, and I like it.
And it is awesome.
Implausible that she survives all that, but at the same time, really fun. So if it didn't have the digital reviving of the actor, it would be 18.
Yeah.
But I think you have to knock it down to B.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. You know, I'm interested to see. I hope that. And again, I'm not totally blaming Fede for that.
Yeah.
That seems very much like a
Ridley
in a studio thing. I really I hope he gets to do another one. I know he's talking about that he's got a pitch for it, or letting someone else do it, but with his hand kind of guiding it. Without that,
there's promise.
Hopefully they're just surely they wouldn't be like, we should try it again, right? Yeah. Let's put that thing that no one liked back in.
There's totally a way that you can, because this takes place between Alien and Aliens. There's totally a way that this can take place between Alien 3 and Resurrection.
Yeah. Bring Ryder's character back.
Because you never know. When they go to cryosleep, they get knocked off their path, they end somewhere else, something else happens. Plenty of places for this to go. Obviously, we're going to get the FX series on Hulu, which is on Earth.
And it's the, what's supposed to be the first, if you're not counting Alien vs. Predator, which is the first kind of this is supposed to be the beginning. How do you call something Alien Earth and not have an alien?
There has to be something else on another planet somewhere. And it cuts back and forth. Because A and B plots are amazing for shows. So they got to have a B plot somewhere else.
I just also don't think you can put alien in something and people and you don't put an alien in it. And that's why people can forget Prometheus. If they would have called it Alien Prometheus and then there's just a proto-alien, there would have been riots. They would have freaked out. Yeah. You know?
I'm glad they called it Prometheus.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what you think in our thoughts.
In our thought, yeah.
Let us know. We're listening. But also put your comments in the chat. Yeah. Oh, there's no chat. Whatever. I don't care. This has run on long enough.
Too long.
But the audio works. So that's all that matters.
Get it.